Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for November 26, 2024. My goodness, it's already the 26th of November, 2024. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI, we're going to do it's Season 3, Episode 331, and we're going to talk about these 10 articles. Miles and miles of lead-coated telephone cable. Drake, what are you doing, Drake? Personalized plates, massive Serengeti cybercrime operation, least polluting cooking method, Maine sues big oil, but it won't go anywhere. Curtis Bay coal dust, dust? I don't know. One of those words. On ISS, toxic odor and biohazard suits is fine. And the influencer lawsuit around the corner and locally acquired dengue virus. Don't worry. It's nothing. Not when you compare it to the avian flu that's being transmitted amongst people, not birds. Don't ask questions about that either. It'll miraculously go away. Everything's powered by ohmTown.com. Go over and become a citizen. Be sure to follow us here on Twitch. You can get the show notes from the Omatron bot that's on Twitch, or you can go over and get the show notes from the live stream. It's already in the comment. Well, it's in the description for the live stream over on YouTube, and it will be in the podcast and the long-term storage over on YouTube for today's episode. So, see you in a little bit. Hello, Sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt from the present.
Yeah, thank you. I have closure and was hoping that you would do it, but I never know. You ready to get into the show?
I am.
Let's get going. First article is over on the Mobile channel. Crews remove miles of abandoned lead-coated telephone cables from the bottom of Lake Tahoe. Ever wonder why your water tastes a little minty, a little... Maybe
metallic.
It has a slight flavor of black licorice, neither of which really are indicative of lead. But anyway, the cables have been resting in the bottom of the lake bed for decades, raising fears from environmentalists and residents about possible lead contamination. There's a good possibility, though, that they've been coated in enough muck to prevent them from decomposing, because the reason why... what was the town?
Detroit?
Well, it was a little Michigan town. Yeah. They changed the water supply, and that the pH of the new water supply etched away the protective layer of the lead-lined pipes, and those pipes started leaching water into the community. Flint, Michigan, yeah. And so what ended up happening was the lead leached out and contaminated all of the people. And it's, I don't know if it's impossible, or once it reaches a certain point, you cannot get it out of somebody's system entirely. And since it crosses the blood-brain barrier and can even impact people who are pregnant, you have long-term ramifications. It's pretty horrendous. So luckily, somebody detected these and they went and got them. So, crews remove miles. It's over at SmithsonianMagazine.com. Sarah
Yeah,
Kuda.
but they've been there for decades. But hopefully that's true, and they've been coated.
Yeah, with muck. So the cables had been resting in the lake bed for decades, raising fears from environmentalists. Again, Sarah Kuda over at SmithsonianMag.com or Smithsonian Magazine. Let's see. They don't know about the cable's origins. They are believed to have originally been installed by Bell Systems, which was later acquired by AT&T, as the San Francisco Chronicle's Gregory Thomas reported. In August in 2021, a nonprofit California Sport Fishing Protection Alliance filed a civil lawsuit against AT&T over the cables. They're like, it's not our cables, it's Bell Systems. Go ask them.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be one of those, like all the utilities in the city and the county and everybody are pointing at everybody. Bay Bridge, Maui Fire.
So what's really interesting is there was a whole bunch of terrestrial telephone companies all under one company. It got broken up and then it got reconstituted as AT&T. So it's really fascinating. Ma Bell is what it was known as. And it got, because of monopolistic practices, it actually got broken up into Baby Bells, not the cheese. And then AT&T.
Right, this is not the good kind of Baby Bell.
Yeah, that's right. And unfortunately, AT&T acquired them all again under the umbrella of the wireless communications side of things. And basically, this is the hot mess that we have. So in reality, AT&T is Ma Bell. And so it's kind of a re-roosting of they all came home, you know?
That's right. But isn't this kind of concerning that nobody seems to know who installed these?
They
like,
say
it's
they're
like
believed
to have been installed.
Yeah, and it's really because the paperwork is lost in the shuffle of decades of, you know, back since the 1920s is what they say. So, paper? Where does that go? We have no idea. Evidence that, you know, makes us responsible for. So really, I mean, should a modern company be held responsible for the past deeds of a company that gets acquired, after breakup, after acquired, etc.? I don't know, but somebody needs to.
They take everything on for them, so they're the most logical.
Not if they weren't aware of it. And unless it's stipulated in the contractual obligations of the acquisition.
Well, that's true. We don't know what the terms are there.
Yeah. So they say here that let me back up a little bit. So a 2023 Wall Street Journal investigation. Again, we need to protect the institution of investigative journalism and newspapers. It is
right. If this didn't exist, right, nobody would know about this. Or maybe they would in the local area, but not widespread.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We are living in the 21st century. We've lived through an era of yellow journalism and tampering and disappearing people who spoke out against stuff. And I mean, time and time again, people who, even whistleblower protections are weak compared to what we need, because the people need to be protected from wealth, essentially wealth and power and influence. It's all money. So a 2023 Wall Street Journal investigation subsequently found abandoned lead-covered telecommunications cables across the nation. The publication hired an environmental consulting firm to take soil and water samples from areas near the cables, and testing near the cables in the Lake Tahoe area showed lead levels that in one sample were 2,533 times higher than those recommended by the EPA. Again, a government agency designed to protect the citizenry from abuses by corporations. But don't say anything, because you know, what good is it? Yeah, let's just do away with it.
We all want lead in our lakes and where our fish are and our water supply. And
you know, there are a lot of really light people in the world. And so you need that lead to weigh them down. Otherwise, they will fly off of the flat earth. Anyway, AT&T disputed the claims that the cables had contaminated Lake Tahoe, and it commissioned its own lead test that concluded the cables were safe and posed no threat to public health nor the environment per its website. But the telecommunications company agreed to remove the cables anyway. That's we'll spend millions of dollars to solve the problem, but it's not a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
So this fall, AT&T hired J.F. Brennan Co., a marine services contractor, to remove the cable. Crews worked daily 12-hour shifts for more than 2 weeks to extract the old infrastructure from the lake bed. They finished the work on November 17th, according to SF Gates, or San Francisco Gates, Julie Brown Davis. Scuba divers and a remotely operated underwater vehicle worked in the water while other crews were stationed aboard a large barge named Marge, and a smaller boat per SF Gate. I'm glad that they're dropping SF Gate again and again and again. So crews then ferried the cables to Tahoe Keys Marina, loaded them onto trucks, and drove them to a recycling facility. In total, 8 miles of cable from the southwestern part of the lake. One section was located in Emerald Bay, while the other stretched between Rubicon Point and Baldwin Beach. According to the California Sports Fishing Protection Alliance calculations, the effort was slated to remove more than 107,000 pounds of lead from the lake.
Did you see? I mean, the amount of time that took to take all of this out is pretty astounding.
Yeah. Crews worked daily for 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks, 12-hour shifts.
And it's multiple miles of cable. I mean, that's pretty significant.
And lead lined, heavy, dirty, disgusting, who knows what kind of contaminants. And scuba divers, while you may think that they're breathing contained air in a mask that is normally open, their face and all of that is open, they probably were wearing dry suits, so everything is protected. And then when they come out, they get washed down so that they don't get lead on them. I certainly would be wearing a full face mask in a dry suit and not allowing any of that to get directly on me, because who knows at that level how much of it is
like
flaking.
Little particles, or you start inhaling it when you come out. I mean, I don't know.
Yep. All right, folks, let's keep on moving. The next article is over in the Smack Talk channel. By the way, if you want to get all of today's show notes again, you can hit !NSN over in the Twitch chat, because YouTube doesn't like ohmTown. I still haven't been able to get it to work, but maybe I'm just looking in the wrong direction. Yeah, I sometimes look that way when I need to look that way.
You got to pay attention to the traffic signals.
Huh? Anyway, so Drake makes a wild claim that Apple was paid to purposely misdirect Siri requests toward rival Kendrick Lamar's song. I want to test this, and I'll test it after the show, but we'll see. Drake and Kendrick.
Okay, yeah. You're not going to do a live test, I assume.
Yeah, I'm not going to test it live. So Drake and Kendrick Lamar's feud, and I read something online where somebody posted a tweet that said, "This is the widest thing that Drake has ever done." So I thought it was kind of funny. Drake and Kendrick Lamar's feud appears to have no end in sight, and now Apple is unwittingly getting pulled into the complicated affair thanks to a possible Siri malfunction and Apple Music. Ryan Christoffel over at 9to5mac.com put the article together, and it says here, from the legal filing, on information and belief, UMG, or Universal Music Group, paid or approved payments to Apple Incorporated to have its voice-activated digital assistant Siri purposefully misdirect users to Not Like Us. Online sources reported that when users asked Siri to play the album Certified Lover Boy by recording artist Aubrey Drake Graham, DBA, or doing business as Drake, Siri instead played Not Like Us, which contains the lyric Certified, I'm not going to say that, an allegation against Drake. So, yikes. Apple hasn't technically been accused of any legal wrongdoing since the target here is UMG. And then it says a top comment by Mike Beasley says that the part that they leave out is that the lyric is right before one they cited is Certified Lover Boy, meaning Siri is keying in on the actual lyric, Not Like Us. There's no conspiracy here, just Siri misinterpreting the album's name as a lyric. And then they end their comment with, Drake looks like such a little baby doing all this. So
this is such a outrageous claim, isn't it?
Now, is Drake making a ton of money off of nothing more than their present? And so people are looking up their music as well as, well, everything in this space. Like, who else is talking about Drake? Who else is, making these comments?
Well, I think Drake has more hits, like more listens or downloads or whatever than Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
If I'm
really?
not mistaken, but I think Kendrick Lamar's is viewed as
Better.
better music or whatever. Maybe I've got that wrong, but this whole thing seems like a
Catfight, yeah.
celebrity grab or whatever. Well, yes, that too. But is it all just like, let me get more publicity around my album?
But I have to say that it's more like Drake going, and Kendrick Lamar is like, pop. Just like, it's the, what's his name? The slap. What's his name? Will Smith slap. Like just one.
Oh gosh, at the Oscars.
Yeah, and just nailed it. But every time Kendrick Lamar did something, it just smacked the crap out of Drake. So, and I really wasn't, I'm not into Drake or even Kendrick Lamar. I might listen to them when they show up, but yeah, it doesn't really mean much to me. I just thought that it's kind of funny that
it is about where I thought.
This is on the heels. Go ahead.
Drake has about 3 times as many downloads as Kendrick Lamar.
So is Drake taking one on the chin to help out Kendrick Lamar?
I have no idea what's going on here because that really doesn't make sense, right?
Maybe they're actually
if you're
buddies.
In the lead, I don't know.
It's like a Mean Girls conspiracy.
Language that's being thrown around.
Maybe they called each other up, and said, "Hey, let's get into a scuffle to see if we can drive business for both of us." I don't know. I like a good conspiracy, and this is like Mean Girls conspiracy. Let's move on. So this next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. Wild personalized license plates are very much illegal, but that's not stopping car owners in Florida. Authorities in Florida are currently dealing with an epidemic of the automotive variety. Car owners all over the region are customizing their license plates to the extreme, and they're violating Florida state laws while doing it, but you're trampling on my First Amendment rights. Catch me. That's funny. So Lawrence Hodge over at Jalopnik put this article together, and it says drivers down there are going further than just customizing the plate's digits, which that's not allowed, folks. This is
right. There is like a state issued license plate, I believe.
It's supposed to identify the vehicle. You're not supposed to remove
the database,
it,
right? Like you can't like put your own message on there. That's not through the official license plate program or whatever.
Right, but again, the police can screw it up in the system and then pull you over for 4.5 hours, preventing you from getting to your
and ask you odd questions while
contract,
doing so.
Your government contract pitch meeting, but don't worry about it. Oh shit, I missed that meeting. Yeah. Oops, our bad. There was a typo in New York. Anyway, I'm not bitter. Miami's ABC 10 reports that Florida Highway Patrol have been dealing with more and more violations involving customized plates. These plates are more than just custom digits you can pick up at DMV. The whole Department of Motor Vehicle. Okay. Yeah, rules are a real bitch, especially when they apply to everyone evenly, except for the ultra rich, which then you can just drive a wedge between everything and manipulate. Never mind. Anyway, so at a recent exotic car show in Sawgrass Mills Mall in Sunrise region, altered license plates stood out as much as the high-end vehicles themselves, personalized, stylish, and undeniably unique, but illegal. Now, if they're driving around with these plates, that's something else. But if they take them off,
I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah. We're trying to stop the current trend that we're seeing, says Lieutenant Alex Camacho of the FHP. Florida law prevents altering state-issued license plates in any way. Are they actually changing the plates, though? It says here that they're changing colors, airbrushing designs, applying vinyl wraps. The reflective coating is essentially or is essential for readability and safety, according to Camacho. You have to say his name like that, or their name like that. I don't want to assume Alex is a particular gender. Apologies. So if you put this tag on your car, you're going to seize that tag. You are going to get your vehicle towed and get an infraction for it. Warrant Camacho. It's bigger than people saying it's not a big deal.
Okay, look at the percentage increase, though. What happened in 2024?
Holy cow. The problem is a huge deal in South Florida. Citations in 2024. Let's see. Sociopathy has hit an all-time high. People don't give a shit about the law. They don't care what your opinion is of them. They will do whatever they want to until even beyond where it impacts everybody else. Safety.
I was thinking something more basically like some influencer did this and then it kicked off a trend or something.
So I'm trying to figure out what actually happened. So citations have surged 98%. Authorities say that the 893 citations issued across the state in 2024, 78%, or 702, were issued in the South Florida counties of Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. The we don't give a shit what you think counties of South Florida. The southern
I was thinking
side,
the flashy car counties, but
so complicating things are businesses that exist solely to customize license plates. One of the bigger names in the business, called Plate Makers, which is doing some of the most extreme license plate designs that they've seen, want the airbrush plate in purple that reads "Hell yeah" with an image of Dodge's Hellcat logo. So this is the right place for you. But why not just make it absolutely not just illegal, but it's illegal to do that business. You cannot sell custom license plates.
And if you do, then you're banned from whatever, being in the car industry or something.
See, now these are supposed to be for aesthetic purposes and you stick them on your wall. It's not designed to actually go on your car.
But I mean, that's part of the question, right? Like, is this kind of company going, hey, put this on your car?
It should be state issued license plates are the only, just like you're not allowed to modify your business permit and stick it on your wall and jazz it up and bedazzle it. You put the certificate of occupancy in place and you leave it the hell alone. You don't sit there and jazz up your fire extinguishers. You have to have them on the wall in the designated place, available and easy access.
Keep them red.
Keep them, yeah. Or whatever color.
How fast do you think you get pulled over with one of these like purple plates or something that are clearly not a real plate?
I can guarantee you it's subjective that an officer gives a shit enough to pull somebody over. Maybe they're on their way to get a donut and they don't care. I don't know. And considering I know somebody who first thing out of police academy said, I found the ultimate donut shop. I laugh my ass off every time I remember that. I will probably someday lose all memory of everything, which would probably be fun because I'd meet new people every day. But
including yourself.
Yeah. And nobody would ever be able to ask me for anything because when they're like, hey, can I have $20? I'm like, who are you? Yeah, I mean,
that could be convenient, I guess.
I'm your spouse. I'm married? Wait a minute. What? That's your child. What? I've done what now? Anyway, moving on because we're spending a lot of time on these articles. So this next article is over in Technology Today. Over 1,000 arrested in massive Serengeti anti-crime or cybercrime operation. Law enforcement agencies in Africa arrested as part of Operation Serengeti the entire country. No, just kidding.
It seems like that's where it's going, doesn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't come up with a country fast enough. More than 1,000 individuals suspected of being involved in major cybercriminal activities that caused close to $193 million in financial losses all over the world. just today, I gave a talk about cryptocurrency and cybercrime. And cryptocurrency cybercrime is in the billions of dollars. Yet there is no problem with Bitcoin, a fictional fiscal instrument, from being in existence and booming in just 8 years from $730 to $93,000 this morning. So I'm surprised that anybody would go to this extent, because the cost involved with arresting 1,000 people.
Yeah, but I guess based on the losses, they considered it worth it. But it is shocking. Like,
Where are they
usually
getting
on
the
these
money?
cyber things, they arrest like one person or something.
Yeah. So Bill Tool is over at Bleeping Computer. Put this article together, bleepingcomputer.com. The operation was coordinated by Interpol and Afropol. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. Anyway, between September 2nd and October 31st, and targeted criminals behind ransomware, business email compromise, or BEC, digital extortion, and animal scam or online scams. Animal. The reason why I said animal is because I have one right outside the studio, and I don't have the studio door closed, so I have a feeling that the little creature is gonna. You'll see them walking behind me. Again, there is a whole lot of space between here, right here, and down there. But the angle of attack, the wall is 10 feet back. So anyway, so the investigators report that this is non-sequitur news. So we go in this direction and then we get T-boned by some other story. So in total, authorities in 19 African countries arrested 1,006 suspects and took down 134,089 malicious infrastructures and networks based on intelligence provided by operational partners Cybercrime Atlas, Fortinet, Group IB, Kaspersky, Team Simru, Trend Micro, and Upsala Security. So I know a few of these. I find Kaspersky's involvement pretty interesting.
Shocking.
Well, based in the U.S. perception of what Kaspersky is, yeah. And the investigators report that the suspects and infrastructures were linked to at least 35,225 identified victims who lost nearly $193 million. Operation Serengeti recovered roughly $44 million. So it paid for itself, sort of, but that $44 million is taken from people who were victimized. So it
right, they
shouldn't
might be
fund
consumers
this
or whatever. Yeah. This is still a pretty impressive effort.
Yeah, pretty cool. There is more to this, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'll let you all go and do that. It's a fun article to read, but thank you, Bleeping Computer. Follow the link through ohmTown, and you'll be able to check it all out. So this next article is over on the Mobile channel. Air fryers confirmed as least polluting cooking method, but it really depends on who's piloting that.
Does that mean if you don't know what you're doing, then who knows?
I'm not saying anything. Air fryers produce a tiny fraction of the indoor air pollution emitted by other cooking methods, including pan and deep frying, a new study has shown. That's because deep frying is boiling oil, so it's getting atomized and spraying all over the place. And most indoor cooking, not most, a lot of indoor cooking involves gas. And so gas is bad for you because it doesn't consistently burn everything in particulates, spray everywhere. They're atomized and they get inhaled, they get on your skin, blah, 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 right?
I mean, that's right.
Well, University of Birmingham put the article together for phys.org. I love my air fryer. Whenever I want some tots, I just throw them in there. If I get nuggies, I throw them in there. If I want, I don't know. I actually have barbecue pulled pork right now, and I'm going to throw some in there as soon as the show is over.
Pizza, anything can go in there.
French fries, all kinds of stuff. In fact, I had French fries that I threw in a container, and this afternoon they got thrown in a microwave, and they were disgusting. I understand it. And then they were thrown in the air fryer and crisped up, and we're good to go. So air fryers are great. You can cook eggs. You can poach eggs in an air fryer because the air fryer will cook the water and the egg inside the water. And then all you do is strain out or scoop up the egg out of the little container crucible that you put it in. Whatever it is, you ramekin, whatever. But
I don't know what to add to that.
Yeah. So most people spend more than 80% of their time indoors, so the effects of indoor pollutants, which include a range of acute symptoms and chronic conditions such as cardiovascular, neurodegenerative, and respiratory diseases.
I mean, is that all? That does all sound pretty severe.
Are a major health concern. So the researchers based in the University of Birmingham School of Geography, Earth, and Environmental Sciences used a campus-based research kitchen to bridge the gap between laboratory-based chamber experiments measuring pollution from different cooking methods and less well-controlled testing in domestic kitchens, and their results were published in a magazine named Indoor Air.
I love that. You have said that there is a journal for everything.
Yeah, it's like streaming. It's like videos online. It's like subreddits over on Reddit. If you think there's a niche there, and if you can be found, you will have an audience. I'll wait. I'll wait for our audience to show up. Come on, audience. Come on. You can do it. Anyway, the researchers based at the University of Birmingham School did experiments, and the researchers cooked chicken breast using 5 different methods: pan frying, stir frying, deep fat frying, boiling, and air frying in a well-controlled research kitchen, and they measure the volatile organic compounds emitted by each method, measuring from place to place in a very specific manner. So the only variable was the cooking method. And the team measured peak concentrations in micrograms per cubic meter of air, and for pan frying, the peak concentration was 92.9, which is by far the highest. For stir frying, which this one surprised me, stir frying was only 26.7. Deep frying was 7.7. Boiling was 0.7, which really, like, how? How is it that so low? But air frying was 0.6. And I have one conclusion from just reading that and experience with air frying. It actually circulates air internally and vents through a filter.
Oh, okay.
So for VOCs, the results were measured in parts per billion, or ppb. The cooking methods for the particulate matter emissions: the pan frying was 260 parts of VOC, deep frying 230, stir frying 110, boiling 30, and air frying 20. And the researchers also identified and quantified the specific VOCs that were most strongly emitted during cooking activities. Pretty fascinating. So it says, what we can say with certainty, however, is that improving the ventilation in kitchens by opening windows or using extractor fans will help to disperse polluting particles and reduce personal exposure. But I hear people saying, go ahead.
Well, this doesn't make you want to use pan frying as a method. It was worse on both tests.
Yeah, and that's because it typically gets super hot and it sprays spatter all over the place. There's zero containment. So yeah, the researchers continued to measure pollution after the cooking process had finished, and they recorded substantially higher levels of pollutants in the kitchen for well over an hour after the cooking had been completed, despite the cooking process only taking 10 minutes. There was something I was going to say, but I lost it in the sun. That's okay.
Non sequitur.
Yep.
I think I sidetracked you.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Maine sues Big Oil for climate deception, and it will probably go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will go. So, I want an RV. Oh, look, I've got an RV. Sorry, Maine. The state of Maine today sued ExxonMobil, Shell, Chevron, BP, Sunoco, and American Petroleum Institute to make them pay for lying to the public for decades about fossil fuel products' central role in the climate crisis, joining a growing number of climate accountability lawsuits against Big Oil across the United States. Maine's now the 9th state, and Maine Attorney General Aaron Frey becomes the 11th Attorney General, including the District of Columbia.
Maybe because of the territories.
Yeah, because that would be 9, 10, and 11. So to take on Big Oil to court for the climate deception. What? Hold on. Interesting. So this is a commondreams.org article, which we rarely of late actually highlight because a lot of their articles are actually opinions. And everybody has an opinion.
We tend to do more factual articles.
Yeah. So I might read one of these, talk about it, and pick out the factual information. But the context of an opinion piece is that person's perception of the facts. Facts are facts, regardless of what you believe, because the sky is blue for a reason. Okay? Not because you believe it to be blue. Anyway, so 11 attorneys general in California, Connecticut, Delaware, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Vermont, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico, and dozens of municipal, tribal governments in many states have filed lawsuits to hold major oil and gas companies accountable for deceiving the public about their products. And frankly, there isn't much more in this article that talks about it.
Although this one was reasonably, like, it wasn't the standard opinion piece. I know there's a statement in here and there's an organization behind the article. But,
yeah, Center for Climate Integrity put this statement together, which I roughly read. Big oil companies have lied for decades about the catastrophic harm they knew their products would cause. And now Maine has joined a growing wave of communities across the U.S. that are demanding accountability. And unfortunately, the sociopath side of society will say, we just want to get to our jobs. We don't give a shit that we're ruining the planet for the rest of mankind. Personkind. Strike that. Even making that statement seems to be politically charged, even though it's a sociological mechanism for labeling society. But hey, don't let me steer you towards the light. Anyway, you want to move on? Because there isn't much in this article.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I did find it interesting, the states. Like I thought, oh, are they all coastal locations? You know, maybe where their water has been impacted, but it's not. So it's just interesting to see this. But I think these are a good thing because it seems like some of these corporations have been pretty much not held accountable, and they've been doing some of these practices for decades.
Yeah, money though, Anyway, so the next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Study confirms coal dust presence in Baltimore's Curtis Bay, raising health concerns. So a new study from Johns Hopkins University researchers and community partners. Oh, wait, I hear a voice saying, don't research, don't ask questions. You don't want to know. If you don't ask a question, if you just stop testing, there's no problem.
Right. It's hard to find any bad results.
Yeah. Don't talk about it. Let the abuse happen. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. The silence is me just waving my hand. For those in the podcast, I'm trying to do a Jedi mind trick.
Oh, I thought you were doing like a cat playing with a toy.
Anyway, new study confirmed what residents of South Baltimore's Curtis Bay community have reported for decades. Coal dust is present in measurable amounts on schools, playgrounds, houses, nearly a mile away from the open-air coal terminal that borders the neighborhood.
Stunned silence.
Who cares? It's just the kids. They'll grow out of it, and they'll move away, and they'll be fine. The silicosis that they get from it'll ruggedize them. Roberto Moller Candanosa from Johns Hopkins University put this article together. It's over at phys.org. Curtis Bay is a waterfront community near the Patapsco River that borders an industrial area with multiples of. Yeah. See, what happens is coal dust settles on a keyboard to the point where it's no longer able to reliably type in S's. Anyway.
That could be it.
Multiples of plants, let me throw that in there. Terminals and port facilities, including an open-air coal export facility owned by CSX. The fighting CSX. Or wait. The derailing CSXs. Anyway, we won't talk about the trains. The area hosts key facilities for the Port of Baltimore, which was the second largest coal exporter in the United States in 2023 with 30 million metric tons. Using electron microscopy to analyze dust samples, the Johns Hopkins team confirmed the presence of coal particles in two areas farther away from the open-air coal terminal than the nearest residential area. One about a quarter of a mile from the CSX coal terminal and 1/3 of a mile away from the facility. Okay. I hear people saying, but you had to use electron microscopy. Yes, but you found it by grabbing a bunch of dust somewhere. And if you went somewhere else, you found it there too. So the problem is
where it's going, like in your lungs or on your skin or
constantly. It's
in your brain,
on your pets, in your pets, your kids, your food. It's through your body. You're consuming it and blah,
your
blah, blah.
Water supply.
It's everywhere. But again, I've had these conversations with people where they go, but you had to use electron microscopy. It's so small. It's harmless. No.
Nanoplastics, anybody?
So the findings are consistent with longstanding community concerns and lived experiences regarding the presence of coal dust in Curtis Bay, which neighbors an open-air coal terminal. They should just move, right? Just sell everything.
Goodness. This is the socioeconomic discussion again. I forgot which article it was. I think we had one a day or two ago.
Find their happy place. They can just move on, right? There have been very few studies answering the question about community level exposures related to coal handling and storage. Understanding exposure and whether there's a presence of coal dust is one of the first steps to answering questions about community health. I'm sure that there is some coal industry lobbyist, blah, 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 that's going to be blowing coal dust smoke up your arse as easily as a backhand in tennis. Because money trumps your health. But the moment that they get sick, right, they get lung cancer or whatever, they're going to be slapping a ribbon all over everywhere and expecting you to donate to the cause. That's because a sociopath doesn't give a shit about your health, only their health. So when the cows come back to roost, like the lead lined.
Do they fly?
Yes. Like the lead-coated telephone cables, they'll be the first to bitch about how the health has been compromised by them. Anyway, although that's only if they have zero sense of irony. If they do have some ability to actually look in the mirror and see what they have wrought, they'll probably shut the hell up. And just kind of eat a little bit of crow. Coal-dusted crow. Anyway, there's more in this article, but really, um, it it just sucks because people knew about it, talked about it, they tried to get things changed, but nobody cared. And then somebody that was interested in it, it says there's coal coming out of the air. It's not diesel fuel and it's not black carbon, says Livy, who helps direct Johns Hopkins Materials Characterization Processing Facility, where the samples were analyzed. If you want to know how bad it is for you to breathe the air, then you need to do more detailed study, but the first pass is done. So they know that there is more there once they peel back the layers of the onion.
Exactly. And then once they start really analyzing it, they'll probably go, and these particles are linked to fill in the blank, any number of conditions. It's interesting that this was kicked off because there was an explosion where coal dust blanketed everything. And that's what led to this study. So it's kind of sad that that's what transpired to get to it.
And when was does it say? I don't remember seeing
It doesn't say when the
date.
explosion was, but the project started in 2022. So it must have been shortly before that.
Yeah. So pretty fascinating, right? And people were talking about it before and after. So how long is this?
Well, I'm
actually
sure
been
it's
going?
one of those things like, I mean, it's like an Aaron Brockovich type thing, right? People in the area know exactly that if everybody's getting sick or
There's a problem.
everything is covered with coal dust or whatever, but they're not necessarily getting any traction because unless it's like a wealthy neighborhood or whatever, it's not getting interest.
And why do you think you put a biomedical lab with 53 monkeys in a tiny little South Carolina town? Because nobody's paying attention and everybody wants a job. And actually the land is cheap and they might get some tax bonuses and stuff like that. Oh yeah. So the next article is over in Four Wheel Tech. Russia says, don't mind that toxic odor in biohazard suits, which is the exact same thing dads say. Everything's fine on the ISS.
This doesn't sound fine.
It's fine. It's fine. I titled this on ISS, Toxic Odor and Biohazard Suits is Fine. So we've all had a problem with a roommate at some point in our lives, but probably not in low Earth orbit. Roscosmos received an unmanned Progress resupply craft on the ISS last Saturday, and when cosmonauts cracked open the hatch, everyone smelled an unexplained odor, and there were droplets in the air.
Bad.
So Ryan Eric King over at Jalopnik put this article together, and I suppose that the ISS is a vehicle. So Jalopnik is the source for it, right?
Oh, I see. Yeah, must be.
They actually call the segment Spacelopnik. I like it. So the unexplained odor smelled like spray paint, according to NASA astronaut Don Pettit, which probably means it's a solvent of some kind, and that's probably not good. So everyone smelled an unexplained odor, and there were droplets in the air. The incident launched yet another inquiry into something going wrong in the ISS, or on the Russian side of the ISS. It's split in half, by the way. And the Russian side has been instrumental in providing solutions to the possibility that we need supplies and we need to exfiltrate. And so because there's experiments in some places and spacecraft docking on the US side, yeah, who knows? Well, to be clear, this wasn't a misunderstood prank or a punctured drink pouch. NASA astronaut Don Pettit described the smell as similar to spray paint, according to an Ars Technica report. NASA released a statement on Twitter, still following, or commonly referred to as Twitter, and it's always gonna be. I was gonna say something else, but anyway, let that sink in, idiot. Along with the quarantine and extra air scrubbers, the cosmonauts on ISS put on protective equipment until they were certain that the space station's environment was safe. This isn't the first time. Let's just hope that they make it home safely and they're healthy and then they can decommission the ISS, and then we can plan a new one. We're already planning a new one to bring another one up into orbit, but we need to, get these people home safe and then launch another one and make it all happen. What we really need is the space station to keep on growing, and have aliens come, and then we can do what is it? The City of 1,000 Planets.
Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets.
Yeah, we need that to take place, and then maybe we can stop worrying about invading other countries.
Yeah, but maybe it's time for a new ISS. And I love that they talk about down here the Starliner straining the crew and the lost tomato, which we refer to occasionally.
Both of those. Yeah, the Boeing Civ Starliner, the Civ class Starliner, and it says the Boeing Starliner stranding its crew in orbit for well past how long they were supposed to be there, 8 days into what? How many? 8 weeks plus? Or the time that NASA lost a tomato. They found it, right? It was like hiding behind a cabinet.
I think it was like a year later, though.
Yeah. And there's like mold and other stuff that's growing in the ISS, but anyway. So the next article is over. You know what? Never mind. That mold might be something that they can use to make cheese. And it'll be NASA space cheese.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No? I think wrong-headed sometimes. Just look at my past episodes. Our past episodes, excuse me. Sentient AI. So the influencer lawsuit that could change the industry is over in Non Sequitur News. It's actually from The Verge. One Amazon influencer makes a living posting content from her beige home. Why beige? But after she noticed another account hawking the same minimal aesthetic, a rivalry spiraled into a first-of-its-kind lawsuit. Can the legal system protect the vibe of a creator? No.
I'm going to go with no.
It is an idea. It isn't your embodiment, sure, but not even a visual embodiment is yours. You can't own a vibe. So, and what if that vibe is basic? Well, yeah, basic. So, Mia Sato put the article together over at theverge.com. Can the legal system protect the vibe of a creator, and what if that vibe is basic? You're not the inventor of minimalist, so kiss my shiny metal ass. So packages arrive in a week that she doesn't know the exact number. When they ask, there is a sentence at the end of the very first paragraph. And for me, it seems like there's going to be a lot of fluff in this. Every day, an Amazon delivery truck pulls up to her home to drop off jewelry, handbags, desk chairs, fake plants, transparent birdhouses. So many packages arrive in a week that she doesn't know the exact number when I ask it. This is kind of like this puff piece. So I want to that's why I scan over this and I talk about just the things that I think are kind of interesting and important. They have 430,000 followers on TikTok and Instagram with titles like Amazon Summer Shoe Haul, ASMR Amazon Vacay Jewelry Unboxing, and Amazon Kitchen Finds. I'm obsessed with, not me. So,
I mean, this is like true influencer.
And it's like peak influencer. And
yeah,
it isn't that somebody has wholesale taken the writing and matched word for word the presentation. And even then, looking at somebody and going, I'm going to take that person's products and do a counterpoint kind of perspective from my perspective doesn't mean jack shit. I can do that all day long. What I can't do is take word for word everything that they say. That is plagiarism. But
Right, or post their videos as your own channels or
yeah,
something.
that would be a copyright violation. But I can take their video and make comments about it. I'm doing a value add, and it's a reaction video. I can sit there and go, well, this is really stupid because whatever reason. But for them to sit there and take the materials and sit there and show it off and blah, 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 it's content. And if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can watch them. But then this person comes along, right? Shale runs what is essentially a one-woman marketing operation, making product recommendations, trying out outfits, and convincing people to buy things they often don't really need. Every time someone purchases something using her affiliate link, she gets a kickback. Da-da-da. So it says the only problem, or the only item in her home not from Amazon is an all-white canvas poster handmade by Shale that hangs over her work desk. In big block letters, it reads, "I am so lucky. I am so lucky." But all of this, videos, big house, earnings, could come crashing down. Shale is currently embroiled in a court case centered on the very content that is her livelihood, a Texas lawsuit in which she is being sued for damages that could reach into the millions. So it says
Because she
here,
basically has an off-white house.
yeah, the minimalist
Which is like predates both of these people.
yeah. Laura Gifford is closely involved in her daughter's business. She works as her manager, handling email communications, booking travel, and more. Gifford and her mother are clearly close, and Laura's watched her as her daughter has lived out years of her life online. At age 12, she was making stop motion videos and uploading them to YouTube, Laura tells the person over at The Verge. So they say, I have no malice toward the sad beige home, but I personally am thrilled I do not live here. Despite the light pouring in from oversized windows and the electric fireplace glowing in the living room, it feels cold, austere, not suited for life. It reminds them of staying at an Airbnb with the charms of lived-in coziness, cute window shutters, lots of throw pillows, but where every drawer is empty and bath towels still have price stickers on the inside. So that's the idea here. So the article is quite extensive, but it says in the lawsuit, Gifford alleges that Shale copied her down to specific frames and videos. She claims that repeated pattern and Shale's uncannily similar content ultimately cut into Gifford's own earnings. The similarities extend in Gifford's telling beyond just video content to eerie, real-life aspects of her manner of speaking, appearance, and even tattoos. So, having picture frames in a
Right,
certain
but that
order.
seems so generic, right?
Yeah, and everybody
But then
does
on
that.
the narrative, it's like listing very specific furniture items or something. I mean, people can have the same items, but
Yeah, and this is commonplace. Hell,
and
if I
that's
were
not
to
even the same either.
right, and there's 9 in one, 6 in the other, different sizes, different content. Behind me is a 9x9. Well, they're actually sound panels, but I could have put pictures on them instead. Actually, they are professional sound panels, but like I said, I could have had them skinned in art. So, do I run afoul of that because it is austere in here? I don't have anything else on the walls. It is, but it's designed to be a studio, not a house. Anyway, still, they say here, it was fine, nothing too crazy. Shale says about in late 2022 and early 2023 when they both lived in Austin, they hung out together in person twice, and the meetups were casual, perhaps akin to an outing for networking. Both say the goal was supporting each other's business. The first time in December 2022, the two women, along with a third influencer friend of Gifford's, met in person at a shopping mall in Austin. They know each other. This is the Mean
Just like some
Girls.
sort of personal, dispute or something.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's always seemed really creepy when the parents are the managers and stuff like that. They have a
Oh, I
personal
agree.
interest in
Yeah, a little too interested in the success of the kid.
Yeah. So I won't go through this whole thing. It actually is quite extensive, and I'm like maybe a third down the page. Um, so I'll let
Yeah,
you all
this
go and
goes and
check it out.
goes.
Yeah, for sure. But it's compelling in the only sense that I want to know what the outcome is of this. But I would more have felt like, will this impact influencers in general? Um, but I didn't see that in this. I think that this is just a fight amongst two mean girls they want everything when it's nothing.
True. But the more interesting piece is, what does this mean for the future of social media and influencers?
Yeah, I have a
Right? Because
feeling
if
that,
this got in their favor, this would shut down a lot of channels.
yeah, they would have a precedent that says that this look is owned by somebody.
Exactly. Can you think, I mean, think of like any genre that you see online, then it's like only the first person who ever had a whatever blue wall in the background or something, they're done. Nobody else can do it.
Yeah, nobody can have a professional set. And that's all that this whole house is really configured to be. It's a professional set.
Right. And how many channels do you see that look pretty darn similar? Not in terms of a copy, but they have the same elements.
Yeah. And I don't care about them like looking left all the time or whatever. That is just standard marketing fare. It's whatever the good side is with the best lighting, with the best presentation. Any judge with critical thinking capabilities is going to look at this and go, y'all are dumb. Let's go on to the last article. This is a weird one because earlier today I was told that there were a couple of people now, including a teenager, I guess, in Canada that has bird flu, the H1N5 or H5N1, whatever
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
I
We had
don't
an
know.
article about that in ohmTown.
But there's another one
But
apparently.
there's more. So now they think it might be person to person.
Yeah. So, but I haven't been able to actually source that, but I thought that we'd talk about this because it says here a Texas official announced the first locally acquired case of dengue dengue virus in 2024. Locally acquired means that people infected have no history of traveling to an area of the world where dengue normally spreads. And while this isn't necessarily something that's going to transmit from one person to another, where did this come from? It's driven by mosquitoes. So maybe this, with climate change, it's moving. It isn't the first time in the United States, but a Texas official announces the first locally acquired case. It's over at abcnews.go.com. Yuri Benajod and Leah Sarnoff put the article together. Go ahead.
And I guess the big deal is that it's locally acquired, right? Like, I think cases in the US have been somebody traveled out of the country,
got sick, brought it back.
Right, which is concerning, but not as concerning as getting it in the US.
Yeah, so dengue transmission is typically common in tropical and subtropical areas of the world, including Florida and U.S. territories in the Caribbean. The virus is a mosquito-transmitted illness, and about 25% of infected individuals become symptomatic. So you basically have a fever and you're vomiting and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of other stuff, aches and pains. And it usually begins within 2 weeks of the incubation period. Once bitten by infected mosquito, which is going to be my DJ name. And I'm going to wear a helmet that is a mosquito head. And I'll use my proboscis to tap on the play button or do that. Anyway, symptoms usually begin within 2 weeks of being bitten, and they last between 2 and 7 days, according to this article. And I actually had read about dengue fever a while back. Yeah, I mean, that tracks with what I recall. Most people recover after about a week. But it's those little bastards right there, mosquitoes. And I saw recently somewhere, I can't remember where it was. It might actually have been Reddit, that there's somebody that's doing genetic modification of mosquitoes so that their little proboscis can't penetrate the skin because
interesting.
it's got a little curl at the end of it. And there's a video of this mosquito sitting there like just jabbing, trying.
That's real?
Yeah. And so like the mosquito, and then I swear this mosquito like looks around like, do you see this? What the frick is happening?
This is not happening.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I kind of chuckled like, oh, what a pisser. So although they're an intimate part of the circle of life, mosquitoes and wasps can, if I was Thanos, it would be those two little bastards that I would snap out of existence. Anyway, Z. Oh my gosh. Hello. It says, oh my gosh, is that Mayor Watt? The Mayor Watt. And his lovely AI, like for realsies. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
I hope I didn't miss you. I was on a different page. Sorry. I hope you're still there. Z, long time. Wow. So Z is a mod over at Dunkstar, and oh my gosh. I thought I was watching an unlabeled replay. You are. It's just a very sophisticated replay.
Yeah, we're very responsive on the replay for some reason.
Z is like family, and a mod over at, hold on, I don't know. Oh yeah, the pre-roll ads. It says pre-roll ads are now disabled for 35 minutes because I'm an affiliate. It plays blah, blah, blah. So great to see you too, Z. Very much appreciate it. And the sentient AI says hi in a visual way, but nobody can see that part because it's a different type of
like
interface.
This?
Yeah. Yeah. It causes the wiggles. Oh my gosh. Thanks for the sub. Wow. Really appreciate it. God, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, you are awesome. Thank you so much. Got to make you mod. Do you want to be mod everywhere? Is that the goal? You're going to be mod everywhere? No, I wouldn't task you with anything. But so this is, you came at the end of the show. I cannot believe it. Yesterday, Dunkstar came at the end of the show. We've had other people come and go, and not everybody talks. So we really do appreciate you subscribing. That is fantastic. So, so Z is a mod over at Dunkstar, DUNCSTAR. Go and check them out in both Twitch and YouTube. And Timeless_EXE is their co-host, who is a sentient clock, AI-powered clock. And what's really funny about that is I had no idea that he was, or they were, a sentient AI clock. But there you go. I found out, like, I don't know when, like after we started streaming and stuff like that. And I found your little, I found your weird USB in a little scoop mark in the parking lot of a Wendy's at 2 a.m. because I needed barbecue boneless wings from Wendy's. They had a really good like a spicy Asian dipping sauce that it was just delicious, and now they don't have it anymore. So hey again. I'm not sure. Was there more to that sentence? So hey again. Oh, like, hey, hi. Hey, thanks. Well, you are awesome, and you made my day. So thanks. Really appreciate it. All right, folks. Well, we are done for ohmTown's Non Sequitur News Daily Show. But like always, we are going to get jabbed by this mosquito, and when we recover from dengue fever, we'll be back at the front page of ohmTown.com, where you should go and become a citizen. Then you can swipe things away. Like I can hide that, or I can save that, and you can do that kind of stuff too. And once you are subscribed, you can look at your ignored and saved articles, and they'll never make it back to the front page. But you can actually, once you go into this, you can actually save links and subscribe to discussions, favorite them. There's other things that you can do, but ohmTown is an admin, so their rules are a little bit different. But at any rate, no, you are awesome. Oh wow! So thank you for gifting a sub to Dunkstar. Didn't expect that either. Appreciate it. Very nice. Very, very kind of you. Gosh, I don't want to go. But I kind of have to go. Wait, did you just gift one to Timeless too? Okay, I was going to do that. I hadn't gotten to it yet. You're not supposed to be doing all of this, but I unbelievably appreciate this. So it says LOL, do what you need to do. I have mayoral duties that pull me away at night. So that's why I do the replay, so that the stream shuts down, and then we do a whole week and actually 2 weekends of past episodes, so people can get a long-term taste, because I can't do 24 hours of stream. But that's very kind of you, Z. Appreciate it. And we will see you tonight in either Dunkstars or Timeless_EXE's stream. So, okay, I'm going to get out of here and take the sentient AI with me. So thank you very much again, Z. And I hope to see everybody here, either here on Twitch, where I got my start, or over on YouTube, where long-term storage is of all of our videos. So I'm going to say bye. Thank you very much for hanging out. Sentient AI.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Non Sequitur News. We'll have another one for you tomorrow, but stay tuned for the replay.
Z, you have a tremendous Thanksgiving. I hope to see you all. So we'll be in Dunkstars or Timeless_EXE's channel tonight. So unless they decide to not stream. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Peace.